Hi, if you're new here, my name's Rachel. And if you're not new here, hi, I'm Rachel. I'm the face behind Crochet by Empanada, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So on Monday on my Instagram, I announced the release, and TikTok, I announced the release of my apple cat. So if you'd like to make apple cat, there is a pattern available on my Etsy. We're going to do a free pattern today. So let's go ahead and do that. So there is a list of materials in the pattern that is on my Instagram. If you forget what I say right now, there is a full list. Also a list of skills and the abbreviations for each of the stitches that we're going to be using and the crochet terms I'm going to be using. For materials, I am using weight 4 acrylic yarn. This is specifically Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek. It can be any kind of acrylic yarn. If you want to make a bigger one, you can use, chenille yarn. You could use Bernat blanket yarn. It doesn't really matter what kind of yarn you use. You just need to make sure that your hook size matches the yarn type. So I'm going to use red, green, and I've got this little bit of brown. Now, if you want to make a different colored apple, perfectly fine. You can do yellow, green, red. Just make sure that your greens don't match. You won't be able to see the leaf very well. You're going to need scissors. These are my gingerbread Christmas scissors. I kind of like to collect scissors. I think cute scissors are fun. I'm going to use this metal yarn needle. If you're using acrylic yarn, you'll need a 2.5. You cannot see that. You can. You'll need a 2.5 millimeter crochet. And you'll need some stuffing. I like to take my yarn scraps and stuff them with yarn scraps. That's just a way that you can use leftover yarn without throwing it away and wasting it. But yeah, that's what you're gonna need. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so we are going to start with a magic ring. So we're going to drape our end over our finger like so. And we're going to wrap the working end around to make a little X. We're going to flip our hand over. We're going to go under the first string over the second string. And we're going to pull the second string under and twist towards us. And we're going to remove our middle finger, yarn over, and pull through that little twisted end. Now you have a magic ring. You're going to put 6 single crochet into this magic ring. So you're going to insert your hook through the magic ring like that. And then we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through both. So that's your first single crochet. So again, you're going to go through magic ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through. Alright, so now you're going to pull your tail to close the magic ring. And you'll have to pull it pretty tight so that you don't see a gap. Now I worked in joined rounds for this, so I'm going to insert my hook into that first single crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch and chain 1. Now you don't have to work in joined rounds. You can just single crochet into that next stitch, but I work in joined rounds. Alright, so now we're going to do 6 increases. So there are 6 stitches, and you're going to put 2 single crochet into the same stitch all the way around. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, and in that same stitch we're going to do another one. Then in our next stitch we're going to put 2 single crochet in that stitch as well. So when you put 2 single crochet into the same stitch, it is called a single crochet increase. And like I always do, I'm going to join my rounds again. And then we will start our next round. Alright, for this round we're going to be following a pattern. So you're going to single crochet, and then in the next stitch you will do an increase. So we'll start in our first stitch, and it will just be one single crochet in one stitch. Then in our next stitch we will do a single crochet increase, so that's 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And we'll follow this pattern 6 times going around our circle. Now I'm going to join my round. Alright, so for this next round we are just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch. So you're going to 18 single crochet around. Now, if you're a beginner crocheter, it can be a little difficult to figure out which side is the correct side, so like the outside or the inside of your work. And I just found out this week that they have a saying, it is called you put the noodle in the bowl. So it makes a little bowl and your magic ringtail goes in the bowl, and I thought that was the cutest little saying. I had never heard of that. So make sure you're flipping your work the correct way, because I had done that for the longest time. So for our next round we're going to do 2 single crochet and then a single crochet increase, and we'll do this pattern 6 times in this round. So single crochet, single crochet, single crochet increase. Next 3 rounds we are just going to do a single crochet in each stitch, so 24 single crochets for the next 3 rounds. Alright, we're going to start our first round of decreases. So we're going to follow the pattern single crochet, decrease for 8 times in this round. So I like to do an invisible decrease, but you can do a normal one, it just depends on your preference. So in the first stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet. And to do a invisible decrease, all you really need to do is just go into the front loops instead of both loops. So I go through the first front loop of the first stitch, and then in the second stitch I just go into that one too. Then I yarn over, and I pull through those 2 loops, and it can be a little tight so you might have to wiggle a little. then I yarn over and pull through both loops left. So I'm going to do this for 7 more times around this round, and you should have 16 stitches when you're done. So now we're gonna stuff our apple. I'm gonna stuff mine pretty firm so that the shaping looks right. Again, this is more of a preference thing. I mean, if you don't want to stuff it super tight, you don't have to, but that's what I'm going to do. We're gonna do our final round of decreases. And I'm just going to do an invisible decrease like I did in the last round. So just go through the front loops and do a decrease that way. Again, if you want to do a normal decrease and just go through both loops, that's fine. This is just my preference. And now that we're at the end of our round, we are going to stuff more if you need to, but we're going to cut a tail. And I'm going to do a long tail so that it helps me close the top of the circle, because there's going to be a little gap in the top and you need to close that up. So I find that it's a little too squishy, so I'm going to fill it a little more. Alright, so I think I'm good with that. Now I'm going to put my yarn on my needle. So see that gap there? We're gonna close that up now. So I'm gonna put my yarn on my needle, and I'm gonna go weave in and out through the front loops of the stitches that are up there. So there should be 8 stitches. So I'm going to just close it up, weave in and out, and close up that hole so that you don't see it anymore. Alright, so I'm going to pull tight, and this is what it should look like. So we're now going to shape it. So we're gonna take our needle and go straight through the middle of where we closed up, and we're gonna go through the bottom where the original magic ring was. You can see where the needle's going through there. So we're gonna go back and forth a couple times, and we're gonna lightly pull, and it will stick better the more times you go through. So I'm gonna pick one stitch on the in between rounds 1 and 2, and I'm just gonna go back through and go through the middle again. And so this was gonna shape your apple to look like an apple. Alright, and that's what it should look like. Now I'm gonna go through and weave in my ends, and to do this I go through a couple stitches, making sure they follow the path of the yarn so it doesn't stick out any. If you're in a cross stitch, this might be a little easier just because you want to follow the X. So I go through 2 or 3 points, and then I'll snip the yarn off and tuck in that tail with a stuffing stick. Now that we got the body of the apple done, we're going to make the stem. So I'm going to make a slip knot, and then I'm actually going to take that slip knot off of my hook and put it to the side. Now we're going to take our apple, and in the top stitches, so the stitches where the decreases are, we're going to insert our hook somewhere in the top. And it can be in the middle, it can be on the side. You can see I'm struggling there. The stitches are a little tight, so it might be a little hard to get them in. So we're going to take our slip knot, we're going to put it back on our hook, and we are going to pull it through those stitches in the apple, and we are going to chain 4. So it should look like this so far. Now we are going to half double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So we'll have 3 half double crochets going down the hook. So to do a half double crochet, we're going to yarn over before we insert into the chain. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over again, pull through. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over again and pull through all 3. So we're going to do this 2 more times, and we'll have 3 half double crochets for our stem. Now we're going to fasten off. So we're going to chain 1 and pull it out. So we're going to cut our yarn, give it a medium tail, and then we're just going to tie the start and ending ends together, and that will give it a stem look, I guess. I don't know. I just tie them together like this. And then I'll take my yarn needle, and wherever the knot is, I will go straight through that stitch. And I pull it tight to make sure the knot goes through, and then I will cut the ends, and then using my stuffer stick I will stuff the ends into the apple. Alright, so now we have a cute little stem on our apple. Alright, now we're going to make our leaf. So we're going to make a slip knot, and we are going to chain 4. So in the second chain from the hook, we are going to make a single crochet, and then the next 2 chains we will do half double crochets. Then we'll fasten off, and we will cut a longer tail than your starting end. So on that longer end, we're going to thread that through our needle. Now on the stem, I go into the bottom stitch and I just sew the longer end through. And then I'm going to flip it to make sure it doesn't go over the stem, it goes on the side, and then I'm just going to tie the ends together. Like so. And then I'm going to thread those and then weave those into the apple as well. I'm struggling at this point. And then the end wouldn't go through, so I just chopped it off. I mean, it works. And then I'll take my little stuffing stick and I will stuff the ends into the apple. And that's it. Now you've made a cute little apple. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll subscribe and you'll stick around to see what we crochet next week.